this video, I know exactly who you are and what you are struggling with right now at this very moment. You are an entrepreneur who, despite all of your efforts, all of the strategies that you've tested, all of the content that you've put out, you are finding that your sales is on a decline. You are finding that your engagement is at an all-time low, and you are struggling to get people to build your email list and to build your text list. And I know this because I am Chanel, the brand hustler, and I help entrepreneurs like yourself build bomb brands and create brand-centric marketing strategies that will help them achieve their six-figure and multi-six-figure goals. So if that sounds like you and you aren't subscribed yet, what are you waiting for? Go ahead and hit the subscription button and join the Hustle Babe community, because I drop gems like these all of the time, and I also give you insight into how I run my businesses and build my brands online. Now, today, it's going to be a little bit of a different video. It is going to be a video that is barely edited and is truly raw and kind of like a masterclass strategy session. Let's call it that, strategy session format. And I did a couple of these before and my hustle babes love them. So I decided to do another one today. I like to do these types of videos when I am in my most focused action planning strategy kind of zone, right? I am really good when it comes to strategy, especially brand strategy. And I figured if I am going through this right now, why don't I just share it with my hustle babes on my YouTube platform? So if you have been struggling with poor sales, poor engagement, low leads, which are email contacts, phone numbers, so on and so forth. If you have been struggling with maybe even creating consistent content, maybe even creating consistent strategies, like whatever it is that you're struggling with that's related to your brand and your marketing, these 5 steps that I am going to share in this video are going to help you. And I know this because I recently was stuck at a certain level and I had to do these 5 steps to be able to unlock what my action plan was to get to the next level. Not only that, but I have been stuck in the past where I did these 5 steps again to unlock what my next level was back then. And every single time that I execute these steps, I unlock a new level, and it's like I'm supercharged. My brand is supercharged. My business is thriving. It is amazing. And so I did this when I was at the level where I was stuck on how to get 6 figures back to back. I did this at the year when I was trying to make my first 6 figures. And currently, I just executed these 5 steps again now that I'm at the stage where I am shooting for anywhere between $500,000 and $1 million in a year span. So no matter what your level is, maybe you are shooting for your first $1,000 month, maybe you are shooting for your first 6-figure year, or maybe like me, you are shooting for multiple 6 figures and even $1 million. These 5 steps are something that you need to ingrain in your mind, because when it comes to strategizing how to get out of a rut, when it comes to strategizing how to get unstuck, when it comes to strategizing how to go from stagnant to thriving, these 5 steps that I'm going to share with you today are the key. They are the blueprint. Trust me. All right. So how it's going to work today, I have my dry erase board. Well, this is my dry erase calendar. I didn't feel like moving my dry erase board over here, so we're just going to deal with this. And if this doesn't work, I got my iPad, which I will screen record and put on the screen if whatever I write on here, if I use it, does not work. So it is going to be just me, you, my dry erase board, and maybe my iPad or computer, okay? So grab you something to take notes with, grab a pen, grab another device if you can. So whatever device you have outside of this one that you're watching me on, go ahead and grab that, because you are going to need it. This is going to be an interactive video because we are about to have your very own strategy session completely for free, because you ain't paying me. Like, you literally didn't pay me for this. So all I hope that this helps. Make sure that you give this video a thumbs up though, because I am giving you this strategy session completely for free. This is complimentary to you just for being a part of my YouTube community. Give this video a thumbs up. Please drop a comment. Help YouTube push this into the algorithm so that more people who are struggling with these same things can see this video. And it honestly helps me out, and it helps me put a little bit of more motivation and stuff behind my videos so I can show up for you every single week and create videos like these. Oops, hold on, y'all. Oops, forgot to take off my damn tag. Now, before we get into the 5 steps, I have to explain how this is going to work. So the 5 steps is really an interactive exercise. And so what I want you to do as I go through the 5 steps is I want you to rate yourself on a specific scale. And this scale is going to be a letter grade scale. We don't want any D's and F's on our report card, but we also got to be real with ourselves when it comes to our brand and our business. And so as I go through these steps, I need you to be completely honest and grade yourself on an A through F scale, where A means excellent. It means that you got this in the bag. You are excelling in whatever it is that I'm sharing with you at the time. You're excelling in that area, and there's little to no room for improvement. So this means that your business and your brand is driving results on a consistent basis. You can give yourself a B if you're in good shape, but you know that with a little bit more effort, you can really be sitting above whatever it is that your goals are. Now, C is for if you're average in this particular area. Now, remember, these steps are also going to be an interactive exercise, so it's going to make sense when I'm going through the steps. But for right now, just make sure that you are notating the scale so that way when we're going through the steps, you have something to revert back to so you can see what it is that you are rating yourself based on. C means that you are getting by, but you're not maximizing your full potential. Things are operating, but not necessarily effectively or efficiently. You're half and half, más o menos, right? You are getting by because you are doing the bare minimum, but you know that there is plenty of room for improvement. A lot of times your business and what you do within your brand and how you run things are inconsistent, but you just happen to be lucking out. Now, you're gonna rate yourself a D, which is poor. If you are struggling, this means that this particular part of your business or your brand is weak and you know that it's holding you back. You may even have some elements in place, but they're not really working the way that they should. So if you give yourself a D, it's a clear sign that this area needs some serious attention, and it could potentially be hurting your brand and business in the long run. You're then going to give yourself an F if you are completely failing. You've completely neglected this area. You know that it's important, but you haven't taken the time to actually nurture and develop this area for your brand or your business. This is a critical issue, and you know that it is stopping you from growing or making the progress that you truly want. So if you give yourself an F, this is a huge red flag. Honestly, D is like a red flag too, but if you give yourself an F, it means that you need to overhaul this specific area and you need to do it fast. You need a game plan and you need to execute it ASAP Rocky, okay? Like seriously, because it is going to hurt you more than you think, all right? And then for my folks who are like, okay, well, what if when you say something, it's the first time that I'm hearing about it, so I don't want to give myself an F because I didn't have a chance to truly, dip my foot in the water and test some things out. Well, if that is you, you can do a dash. You can use a dash if you are maybe not sure where you stand on this area, or maybe this is your first time hearing about it. You can go ahead and give yourself a dash, but it should be something that you want to dive deeply into as soon as possible, because now that you learned about it, you'll know why it's important and you'll know how it plays into your overall strategy as I share it with you today. So now that we have our rating scale, let's get into these 5 steps. This is going to be mind-blowing, okay? And for each of these steps, once again, be completely honest, be completely raw, be completely real. And as long as you do that with yourself, I will do that with you too, all right? So let's get into it. Step number one, we are going to audit our brand. So you're gonna audit your brand. What do I mean when I say audit your brand? You truly want to take a look at your audience, your messaging, and your visuals. I like to take a look at these specific areas because I truly believe that these are kind of like the thermometers, if you will, on my brand. Your audience is basically the center. They're the reason why you create content. They're the reason why you created the product or the service. They're the reason why you're sending the email. Your audience is the reason. And without your audience, you don't generate any traction for your brand or your business. You don't generate any sales. You don't, because you need people. So for this, I want you to reflect and think about, is my audience clearly defined? Do I know exactly who they are? Do I know their personalities, what their lifestyle is like? Do I know maybe certain habits that they have? Do I know certain things that they're interested in? Certain occasions that they celebrate? Maybe they're a brunch goer and they turn that into an occasion where every week they go to brunch. Do you know these things about your audience? Yes or no? And it goes deeper than just saying, oh yeah, my audience are women ages 20 to 75. That's a big old stretch. You really need to have your audience hyper detailed. You should be able to pick one person out of your audience group and develop what's called a persona for them. Identifying what their occupation is, if they have kids or not, what their relation status is, what kind of books they read, if any, what kind of shows they watch, if any, what blogs they get their news from, if any, so on and so forth. You should be able to do all of these things and then some. You want to also be able to identify what their biggest driving forces are. What do they desire? What is it that they are seeking for? What pains are they experiencing right now? What provides them comfort? What are they looking for in a solution like yours? If you don't know the answers to any of these, then you do not have your audience clearly defined. The next part of this is your messaging. Your messaging consistently should reflect your brand's values, tone, and your brand's purpose. And quite frankly, if you haven't even identified any of that, whether it's your values, whether it's your tone, or whether it's your purpose, then your messaging is definitely not on point, because you can't have proper brand messaging without actually developing your PMVs, which is something that I use as a shortcut to purpose, mission, values, and sometimes vision, right? So if you haven't done this at all, then unfortunately your messaging is off. But if you have developed your purpose, if you do know your values, if you do know your tone, if you do know what the mission is of your brand, and you use that to develop your messaging, you want to ask yourself, does your messaging across all platforms and across all pieces of content consistently deliver the same type of message? The last part of auditing your brand is going to be your visuals. Do your visuals appeal to that particular person that I mentioned in the first part of this? Also, do you have a consistency across all of your visuals? Do you have a color palette identified with color codes? Do you have a style guide? Do you have a brand book? Do you have all these things in place? Do you even have a list of words that you use and don't use within your brand? Do you have your taglines, if you use them, outlined? Do you have all these things in place? If you don't, then it's possible that your visuals are not on point as you think they are. And so what I want you to do is I want you to reflect on each of these three parts: your audience, your messaging, and your visuals. And I want you to give yourself a grade, okay? I want you to give yourself a grade. And I'm going to grade myself with you as we go through this. So for me, for auditing my brand, I'm going to give myself an A. Of course, right? I'm going to give myself an A. And so if you give yourself an A or a B here, it's because you know exactly who your audience is, and your audience knows exactly who you are and what you stand for. You also are attracting the right people, right? If you're attracting the right people, it means that your messaging is on point and it means that your visuals are doing a great job. But if you find yourself attracting people who are the wrong people, maybe it's people who are complaining a lot about your products or your services. Maybe you're attracting a whole bunch of attention on your content, but nobody's actually signing up for the thing that it is that you are offering. Whether it's a free or a paid offer, nobody's signing up. And that is crazy and that is insane. I literally had a lead magnet that I published, 2 weeks ago. And within like a 5 to 6 day span, I had almost 300 people get that lead magnet. That means that my messaging is on point, my visuals are on point, and most importantly, I know exactly who my target audience is. If you have gotten to the point where you are giving out something heavily discounted or for free, and yet it's crickets, there's a problem within your branding for sure, okay? So make sure that you are grading yourself accordingly. If you are like, oh my goodness, Chanel, I think I have a poor grade here, that is possible. And I'm gonna tell you how it is that you can identify if it is that you are struggling in this area. So you should give yourself a C, D, or F in this area if you are unsure about who your ideal audience is, or maybe you're still trying to speak to everybody because you think that's gonna make you more sales. And baby, if that is where you're at, just go ahead and put a D or an F, okay? It dilutes your message when you do that. You may also be feeling as though your messaging is inconsistent. Maybe you're doing a lot of copy and pasting. You see something working for another brand and you copy and paste it and try to do that as well. Maybe you go to ChatGPT and anything that ChatGPT spits out, you copy and paste that. You send out that email or that text message, or you create that piece of content simply off of what ChatGPT told you. But because you didn't really know what your brand personality is, or even your messaging and things you say or don't say, the flow, the style, all of that, ChatGPT is going to give you a very generic response. And if you plug and play that, you're going to appear very generic online, which is not what you want. It's the opposite of what you want. And if your visuals are outdated or inconsistent on one platform, your pink is a way different shade than on another platform, or on one platform you're using blue and green, on another platform you're using purple and yellow, there's a problem. Or if you find that your visuals are maybe just not hitting the way that they should, you haven't given yourself a visual refresh in years, there's a problem. Since I've been in business since April 2019, and since I've been in business, we have given our logo a refresh a total of 3 times. So almost every year we have given ourselves a logo refresh. And if you look at big companies, some companies that are big and really, really huge, they give themselves refreshes all of the time. So think about that. Right? So if you're scoring low here, you likely are confused about your brand. You're either not targeting the right audience, your messaging isn't clear, or people just aren't connecting with your brand. And that is a huge problem, okay? So go ahead and rate yourself A, B, C, D, or F in this particular area. All right, now we're gonna get into the fun stuff, because the next part that I want you to rate is your content marketing system. Oh, this marker is squeaking, okay? Your content marketing system. Now, these are systems that can be completely separate from each other. You can have a content system and then you can have a marketing system. But what I've noticed from a lot of my clients is that you're building online brands, and even if you do have a brick and mortar or you get out there and do some foot traffic, your primary source or your primary goal is to have your online store bringing in a lot of the money for you, right? You want that online platform to bring in a lot of money. So because of that, content marketing is the avenue that you take more so than any other types of marketing. Now, if you are already heeled to the pavement and you got everything down packed and you're like, Chanel, I need to be doing event marketing, billboards, TV ads, all the things, then I would advise that you do these systems as 2 separate systems, a content system and a marketing system. But the reason why I put it together, like I said, is because 90%, or honestly, maybe even 95% of my clients get a lot of their brand awareness and a lot of their lead conversion through content, okay? So for the sake of this video, we are going to do the content marketing system route. So now what I want you to do is I want you to grade yourself here, A, B, C, or D. The goal with your content marketing system is to have a consistent flow of something. The goal of any system is to have a consistent, well-oiled machine that is running on the back end to make sure that things are getting put on the front end as they should be, cohesively and consistently. So when it comes to your content marketing system, do you feel as though you have a solid content creation system, you have a solid content creation strategy, and you have a solid, consistent posting schedule that is at a cadence that you can actually keep up with? You also, in this area, the goal is for you to create content that aligns with your brand messaging and speaks directly to your audience's needs and desires. You should be able to put out a piece of content and generate whatever result it is that you wanted to generate from it. Whether it is comments, whether it is likes, whether it is engagement overall, or even if it's a sale. I've had pieces of content that I've put out with the goal of making sales, and I've put out one post and made $1,500. Okay? That is how powerful you should want your content to be, and that is how strategic you should want your content to be, because that post that made me $1,500 did not necessarily have a whole bunch of likes and comments, but because of the messaging and how I tailored it, I got the right people in my DMs to trigger the right automations to get them to buy the right thing. Another goal of yours with your content marketing system is, if you are doing other marketing efforts outside of content, you want there to be some type of cohesion with them. You want things to flow together, to truly flow into your sales funnel, because that is what is going to help your customer journey throughout their relationship with you and your brand, okay? So go ahead and grade yourself an A, B, C, D, or F here, and be honest with yourself. If all of the goals that I just said seem far-fetched, you are on the bottom half. You need to rate yourself either a C, D, or an F, or maybe put a dash because you never thought about creating a content system before. And the way that you know that you're failing at this is if you are over here like getting up and you're making posts on the fly. That's inconsistent. You haven't even thought through the full idea beforehand. Like, you're getting up and you're literally saying, I need to post today, so let me find something. You don't even have a set day where you create your content. You don't take pictures in batches. You don't do video recording in batches. You don't even plan out the themes of your content, the topics. If you're doing a video, you don't script it. You don't outline it. You don't do any of these things. If that is you, you are failing at this content marketing system. Or maybe you do plan your content, but then it doesn't really make sense. The messaging doesn't hit. You're seeing somebody do something and then you are just copying that thing. Or you're creating content based off of how you feel in the moment, but it doesn't necessarily connect to the overall goals that you have set for your business. You also can rate yourself poorly here if you are creating marketing that's just not driving results and nothing just connects. Like it doesn't connect, okay? So go ahead and give yourself an A, B, C, E. Go ahead and give yourself an A, B, C, D, F here, or you can go ahead and give yourself a dash if that is fitting. So give yourself a dash if you feel as though you just found out what a content marketing system is. All right, and for me, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm torn between an A and a B. I'm gonna put a B plus, only because I'm really harsh on myself when it comes to this. All right, so then number 3 is going to be sales system. We are going to rate our sales system. Now, in case you don't know what a sales system is, I just explained what system is. Sales system is the sales processes and flow that you have set up for your business. So how do you know that you have a great sales system in place? First of all, you know what it is. So if you don't even know what it is, you're at an F or a dash, okay? Just go ahead and put that there. Now, if you know what a sales system is and you have attempted to do it or you've attempted to create one, here are 3 ways that you can kind of check to see if your sales system is really hitting on something or if it's not, okay? So the goal of your sales system is to have a streamlined sales structure that takes somebody from just learning about your brand to becoming a lead and guides them through your customer journey to convert them down the line. Everybody's sales system can look a little bit different. Your sales system for digital products is going to look different than a sales system for a physical product. And your sales system for a physical product may look different from a sales system for maybe a program, or some type of coaching package or something like that. It's going to look completely different, but the core and the essential legs are all the same. You need to have something set up that is constantly generating leads for you even when you sleep, because this is how you truly make money while you sleep. You need to have something consistently generating leads for you. And once it generates that lead, you then need to have automation set up on the back end that will guide them through the journey with your brand, but then also be selling them on the back end as well. See, a lot of times when I don't show up on the internet, a lot of people feel as though it is a sign that maybe I'm not making any sales. When in reality, we have certain things set up that generate leads for us every single day. If I decided to take a week off, which I usually do because I travel a lot, there's something in place that is still generating leads for my business, and there's automations on the back end. We also then have a system where we will sell to our past customers, which is a second way that you can see if you have a sales system that's truly working for you. You should understand your funnel and know each and every stage and what happens at each stage, including the stage that happens after they purchase. Are you actually selling them into something else to increase the customer life cycle value, or are they just going away? Do you have something in place that will build loyalty with them so that way they come back, or they refer your business to somebody else, and then that generates even more business for you? You should be able to see consistent and predictable sales this way. Consistent and predictable. The reason why I made my first 6 figures in my first full year of business, April 2019 to April 2020. And the reason why I have consistently made 6 figures from that point on is because I set up a system that generated consistent, predictable sales. Every month, you should know that you are making a minimum amount of money, period. So that way, if you open up the fire extinguisher a little bit more, then you should blow past whatever goal it is that you have set. So if you are like, girl, you talking gibberish, go ahead and rate yourself an F for this part, okay? But if you feel as though you got a little something in the game, then you can rate yourself accordingly, giving yourself a D, C, B, or even an A if you feel like you truly have this down packed. Now, if you're like, okay, Chanel, I'm still torn. I don't know what it means. Like, how would I feel if I don't have a sales system in place? Well, you just wouldn't have one. You wouldn't know. But you also would just be selling randomly. You don't have any automations truly set up to sell. You're losing customers because they're not being nurtured. So maybe somebody's DMing you and you're losing them, or maybe somebody's joining your email list and they're just sitting there for weeks, days, and you send them a newsletter, which is like so out of touch with where they're at. Maybe you could be including sales calls, or maybe upsells, cross sells, down sells in certain places, and you haven't set any of that up, so you're losing people there. And I mean, the biggest factor is your sales are unpredictable. Maybe you had a really, really good week one week. You made $2,000, and it's been 8 weeks and you haven't made $2,000 in a week ever again. So stuff like that. All right. Whew, how long are we been? Woo, it is 25 minutes, and that's without the intro. Okay, so I'm going to hurry up and push through this. But honestly, my strategy sessions are an hour and a half, so that's probably why I'm over here like just talking. Yeah, usually when we have strategy sessions within Bomb CEO, we're there for an hour and a half to 2 hours. But I have to remember that this is also YouTube, and I don't want to be on here just running my chats forever. So if you are enjoying this and you're learning something thus far, if you're finding out like, dang, I'm a really bad student in this business game right now, drop that down below in the comments. Tell me, dang, Chanel, like I didn't realize that I was really not out here doing what I thought I was doing. Or maybe you knew that you wasn't out here doing what you thought you were doing, but now that you hear me saying it and you see the rating scale and you're hearing what what having an A should be in all of these areas, it's bringing some awareness to you and you're realizing where the gaps are. If that is you, put I realize the gap in the comments to let me know that this is helping you out and it is helping you see what you need to do to improve. All right. Number 4, my favorite. Oh, I'm sorry. And for the sales system, this is something that I recently decided that I needed to improve. So I had a sales system that was working for me to get me to 6 figures and to get me to multi-6 figures, right? But that same sales system needed to be tweaked and advanced to be able to get me to $1 million, right? So if you watched my vlogs, I have a vlog series right now called Revamping My Brand. I'll link it on the screen. If you watch my vlogs, especially my recent one, you would know that I recently tweaked my sales system. So if I was rating this before, based on my $1 million goal, I would have given myself a C or maybe even a D because I'm a tough critic. Rating myself now and all the improvements that I've made to be able to get to $1 million, honestly, I'm just go ahead and put an A. I mean, I could be a little bit humble and maybe put a B. So I'll just put A/B, but honestly, your girl is on fire. The type of stuff that we got outlined is insane. Anyway, so step number 4 is we are going to audit our client or customer experience system. I hear it interchangeably and it really grinds my gears. A client is typically when you're providing a service to that person. A customer is typically when you are selling a product, whether it's a physical or a digital product, in exchange for your coin, okay? That's the difference. So for me, I have both customers and clients. For you, depending on your business, you may have both or you may have one, but now you know the difference. So what we want to do is we want to audit our experience system, okay? Now, how do you know you have a great customer or client experience system? They will tell you. Trust me, they will tell you. So if you are in business and it's been a while since you've gotten a review, if you are in business and it's been a while since somebody has just come to you and just gave you your flowers or gave your brand its flowers, there's a problem there. Because if you have a really good experience system in place, what truly makes a customer or client experience system an A is when you have built a customer experience that fully delights them from start to finish, okay? I'm talking purchase, follow-up, onboarding, service, before, after, in between. Is it truly end-to-end the best experience that you could possibly provide? We think that it stops at just the purchase, but in reality, it starts at the purchase. If anything, I believe in going harder for the people who have purchased versus the people who haven't. I mean, everybody's important, but I'm saying because once they've given you their money, they now trust you to deliver a product of a certain standard or to deliver a particular service to a certain degree. So you want to make sure that you fulfill that. And if there's any hiccups along the way, which naturally there will be some people who are just hard to please, but you have to have some policies in place that's a part of your client or customer experience system that allows you to over deliver even when there's an issue. And this is what makes the Chick-fil-A experience so great. You can literally call Chick-fil-A and say, they forgot to give me my 6th chicken nugget. Chick-fil-A will say, okay, I'm gonna put you in the blue book. Whenever you're ready, come back over here to this location. We're gonna give you a whole new meal completely for free. That's a part of their policy to make sure that even when things go wrong, although they try to delight you at the front end, even when things go wrong on the back end, we still got you. If you have something like this in place, you will be unstoppable. Believe me, because this will allow you to receive consistent positive feedback. This will allow you to receive referrals and reviews like nobody's business without you even asking. And what makes it even better is when you put this with a really good sales system that is set up to automatically ask for you, it amplifies you even more. Y'all are not really taking this in. I don't even know if a lot of people are going to watch it all the way through. But if you are to this point, you're watching it all the way through, you are truly amazing. You're a true hustle babe. Shout out to you. I'm giving you your flowers. But this is what will make your brand stand apart and stand the test of time. You want to make sure that you have systems in place to ensure smooth communication, customer support, and follow-ups. If you feel like what I just said is a far stretch from where you are now, rate yourself accordingly. Because if you are scoring high here, it means that your customers feel taken care of. They have an amazing experience with your brand from the moment they encounter you to the point when they're finished with you and beyond, and they keep coming back for more. And if that's not happening to you, you do not have an A in this part. If you are feeling like your customer experience is lacking or your client experience is lacking, and maybe you're not sure on how to improve it. Maybe you've had complaints about your support or poor communication or the quality of your product. Maybe you know that if you had some good reviews, they haven't been consistent because you haven't consistently asked for them. Or maybe you know that you've provided the utmost service to one person but not the next person. Or you know that your quality is a little shaky. If you know that, and if you know that these are things that you are missing, or if you have negative reviews that have come through and the ratio is crazy, maybe you got 5 reviews last month and 3 of them are negative. That's crazy. We really need to make sure that we are fixing this area, because a poor grade here means that you have customers that are falling through the cracks because people are spreading bad news about your brand and business faster than they're spreading the good news. This also means that you don't have a system to bring them coming back because you never actually outlined it. You never actually followed up. So these people are giving you the money one time and they're not coming back. Or maybe they come back by luck, but you want them to come back and be predictable sales, right? I hope that makes sense. Which brings me to number 5. Oh, I'm sorry. And of course, experience for me. I'm a hard critic, but I'm going to give myself a B because once I start making more money, my experience is going to go up. Okay. So boom. Number 5 is you want to create an action plan to fix all of these holes. Okay. Now you're probably like, Chanel, how am I going to grade myself on number 5? Just hold on. So what I want you to do is take a moment and make sure that you have a grade for step 1, which was audit your brand. Step 2, which was your content marketing system. Step 3, which was your sales system. And step 4, which was your experience system. And I want you to look at all of these grades and I want you to write down why it is that you feel like you graded yourself this way. What are you doing right, if anything? What are you doing wrong? And when you write down all the things that you are doing wrong, ask yourself, do you already have a clear action plan outlined to fix these areas? Was this video kind of like, oh girl, I knew all these things and I already outlined my action plan and I'm doing all the things right now to fix it? Or are you like, I'm watching this video and I knew this before, but ooh, I never thought about how I was going to fix it? Or are you person number 3 where you're watching this video and you're like, OMG, Chanel, I never reflected on my business. I never reflected on my brand, at least to this degree. And now I got to figure out where the heck I start to even fix this. So are you person 1 where you're like, girl, I got it? Are you person 2 where you should have already started, but you haven't because you didn't know where to start? Or are you person 3 where this is all new information to you and now you're like, I need to fix it? Let me know in the comments below, but also ask yourself that and then develop an action plan to fix all of the holes that you have within these specific areas of your brand and your business. Your action plan should have clear, actionable steps that address the weaknesses in your brand and your business. They need to have intentional steps broken down into tasks by priority with deadlines and follow through with the proper strategies, okay? You should be confident in your ability to knock out all the things on this action plan and know that it's going to get you from point A to point B and from point B to point C. See, if you are a strong planner, especially if you're a strategic planner like myself, you've identified your weaknesses and you know exactly how to fix them with a clear, actionable plan. You are a focused and organized person, and you know what it takes to take your brand and your business to the next level. But I have a strong feeling that you are watching this video because you are not that person yet. You want to become that person who has the game plan. You want to become the person who is super strategic, and you want to become the person who believes in their action plan and believes in what it's going to look like once they execute it, right? Because right now you don't have a solid plan to address any of the issues that you're facing. You also are overwhelmed because you don't know where to start. And honestly, you struggle with execution and follow through. You need some accountability. And I know so that is why I am going to help you out, okay? If you found this strategy session helpful, this little powwow that we had for 30 something minutes, OMG. If you found this helpful, you need to be at the brand bootcamp, okay? Hey, Future Chanel here popping in because as I was editing, I realized that I did not explain to you how to rate yourself for step number 5, which was creating an action plan. So pretty much you want to rate how strategic you are. You want to reflect on your critical thinking skills. Do you have what it takes to think on a granular level and not just big picture? Do you know how to connect the dots so that way everything makes sense? Are you really good at setting goals, timelines, following through, hiring the right people, creating the right action steps, executing the task, checking off your list? Are you actionable? Do you know how to prioritize all the things? If you are really good at all of those things, then you want to give yourself an A+, or just an A, not an A+. But if you are good at those things, but you know that you can be better, give yourself a B. And if sometimes you hit the mark and sometimes you just feel lost in the sauce, go ahead and give yourself a C. And then if you are really on the struggle bus when it comes to strategizing, you don't know how to make sense of certain things, but you see the goal, you just don't know how to get there, then you are either a D or an F. After you grade yourself for step number 5, I want you to reflect on all of the letter grades that you gave yourself for step 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, because those letters, we're going to turn them into numbers right now. So for any step that you gave yourself a letter grade of an A at, you want to go ahead and give yourself 5 points. For any step that you gave a letter grade of a B at, go ahead and give yourself 4 points. For any step where you have the letter grade of a C, give yourself 3 points. Any step where you have the letter grade of a D, give yourself 2 points. And if you have the letter grade of an F anywhere, give yourself 1 point. And if you have a dash, you're going to give yourself 0 points because you're not in the game yet when it comes to that specific step. So go ahead and total up these points. The grand total that you can possibly get is 25 points. So what does that mean? It means 9 times out of 10, you do not have a perfect 25. So if you have scored anywhere between 0 and 9, it means that a major overhaul is needed. Your brand and your business needs a lot of work to get you back on track. But honestly, the Brand Bootcamp is a perfect place to start. And in the video, I'm going to explain more about how you can sign up to get first dibs and an early bird pricing. If you have a total of 10 to 15, you have some major fixes that are needed. You got some pieces in place, but there's still some critical areas that are holding you back from the success that you deserve. But the good news is that with the right strategy, you can make these improvements quickly. And by executing a 90-day action plan that I am going to give you in the Brand Bootcamp, you will literally have the blueprint to do just that. If you scored between 16 and 20, you're on the right track, but you're missing some key strategies. And while you're doing well and your brand is on the right path, there are still a few areas that are holding you back from the true full potential that you know you deserve. And obviously, with my help, we can get you there. And if you are between a 21 and a 25, congratulations. You are almost perfect. You're crushing it, but we got to scale up to really get you to that next level success that you yearn to be at. So go ahead and total up your points based on the grades that you gave yourself for each step. And then comment down below letting me know what your total score is. And I'm gonna see you at the Brand Bootcamp, but let's get back to the video, okay? It is a 2-day workshop where I am going to help you whip your brand into shape. You are going to leave the brand bootcamp with a clear 90-day action plan on what it is you need to do to fix the holes in your brand and business so that way you can reach what your next level goal is. I know that it works because I've done it time and time again, and I'm currently doing it right now to unlock my $1 million level. But I've made 6 figures and multi-6 figures over and over and over again. So I know that whatever it is that you're struggling with, whether you have a physical product, a digital product, or even if you are offering coaching packages and services, I know exactly what you are dealing with, okay? Physical or digital products alike, you're dealing with the same thing to crack that multi-6 figure mark or to crack your first 1,000 or first 6-figure mark in general. And the brand bootcamp is going to help you out because we are going to help you correct all of the areas in your brand that you are weak in. We're going to help you target the right person, build the right messaging, have the right visuals, and have the right strategy in place. I am also going to help you with your content. We got a whole section dedicated to content and content strategy. I am also going to touch on sales and how to make sure that you are being intentional and that your customers are actually converting, right? And then we're going to tap on experience because I strongly believe in experience. Experience is what people back. Experience is what keeps people talking about you. Experience is what gets you the positive reviews that you see on a lot of my videos and a lot of my Instagram posts. Experience is what gets you those things. And after the brand bootcamp, you will now have a new strategic hat on because you will be able to create strategies like nobody's business. And even if you aren't super confident in creating strategies from scratch, you won't have to because you're going to have an action plan that you're going to execute after the brand bootcamp. I hope that this video was super helpful to you. Please give this video a thumbs up, hit the subscribe button, follow me on Instagram and on TikTok at The Brand Hustler. And I'm going to leave the link for the brand bootcamp in the description box, okay? If it's not open yet, the wait list is going to be linked. That wait list is going to give you first dibs to sign up. It is an exclusive workshop. There's going to be VIP tickets and they are limited, okay? So if you want to be with the VIP folks, you want to make sure that you join the wait list because VIP is going to get an extra 1 to a group session with me. And you just want to join the waitlist period because you're going to get free gems on there. You're also going to get an exclusive price point to actually register for the workshop. And you're going to get all of this for less than $100. So go ahead and click the link in the description. Ciao. This was a really long video. I'm sorry, y'all. Bye. See you in the next one.